Today on MTG Unpacked, we're getting stuck into the Outlaws of Thunder Junction Commander deck, Most Wanted. So this is a red, white, black deck, also known as the Mardu color combo. And the commander here is Olivia Opulent Outlaw. We've got a collector booster sample pack here, 100 card deck with 10 new cards, deck box, 10 double-sided tokens, life wheel, strategy, insert, and reference card. Let's get into it. So this one is all about the Outlaws. Take a bite into crime. Interesting. I wonder if they'll have the new crime mechanic here. So that's if you're targeting your opponents, that is considered a crime. So we've got a deck and then a flyer and some punch outs here. Alright, and let's see what we get in the black envelope. And this deck is going for about $42 on TCG Player right about now. So that's US dollars. Okay, so here is a deck box, sort of flimsy, but it does the job. And then we have our life wheel, so this one counting up to 20 on one side and 40 on the other. And then we have a collector booster sample pack. So this is hopefully to whet your appetite for the collector boosters. Link in the corner in case you missed our box opening. So we opened a full box of collector booster packs. So discover the coolest cards. What do we get? Smuggler's Surprise. So that's the extended art version and a foil fling. Alright, so these are random. You will probably not get the same cards I did. Let's take a look at the commander here. So you might remember Olivia from the plane of Innistrad. So we have a bit of lore here about Olivia. Of course, a vampire. And then on the other side, playing the deck. So yeah, there's tons of rogues, pirates, assassins, mercenaries, and warlocks. And treasure tokens, commander rules here. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting deck. Let's check it out. So we've got the deck itself here. Alright, and there are no display commanders in here anymore, those thicker card stocks, so they just have the regular foil version here. So we have Olivia Opulent Outlaw. It's a mythic, legendary creature, vampire, assassin, 3/3 for 1, red, white, and black. Flying and lifelink. Whenever one or more outlaws you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. So assassins, mercenaries, pirates, rogues, and warlocks are considered outlaws. And if you pay 3, sacrifice 2 treasures, you get to put 2 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Activate only as a sorcery. Alright, and then we have Vihan Goldwaker, legendary creature, dwarf, warlock, another mythic. 3/3 for red, white, and black. Other outlaws you control have vigilance and haste. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may have treasures you control become 3/3 construct, assassin, artifact creatures in addition to their other types until end of turn. Okay, so transform your treasures there. We have Council's Judgment, sorcery for 1 and 2 white. Has Will of the Council. Starting with you, each player votes for a non-land permanent you don't control. Exile each permanent with the most votes or tied for the most votes. Then we have Heliod's Intervention instant for X and 2 white. Choose one. Destroy X target artifacts and or enchantments. Target player gains twice X life. Angelic Sellsword, a creature angel mercenary. 4/4 for 4 and white with flying and vigilance. Whenever it or another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 red mercenary creature token. With tap, target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. And whenever Angelic Sellsword attacks, if its power is 6 or greater, draw a card. We Ride at Dawn, enchantment for 2 and white. Legendary creature spells you cast have Convoke. So that means your creatures can help cast those spells. Each creature you tap while casting a legendary creature spell pays for 1 or 1 mana of that creature's colour. Whenever your commander attacks, create a 1/1 red mercenary creature token with tap. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Then we have Massacre Girl, legendary creature, human assassin, 4/4 for 3 and 2 black. Menace. When Massacre Girl enters the battlefield, each other creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Whenever a creature dies this turn, each creature other than Massacre Girl gets -1/-1 until end of turn. So that is pretty nutty when it goes off. Fane the Broker, legendary creature, human warlock, 3/3 for 2 and a black. If you tap, sack a creature, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. Tap, remove a counter from a creature you control, create a treasure token. Tap, sack an artifact, create a 2/1 white and black inkling creature token with flying. And for 3 and a black, untap Fane the Broker. Then we have Witch of the Moors, creature, human warlock, 4/4 for 3 and 2 black with death touch. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, each opponent sacrifices the creature and you return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Nighthawk Scavenger, creature, vampire rogue, 1+ star for and 3 for 1 and 2 black with flying, death touch and lifelink. Its power is equal to 1+ number of card types among cards in your opponent's graveyards. Then we have Curtain's Call, instant for 5 and a black, Undaunted. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each opponent. Destroy 2 target creatures. Misfortune Teller, creature, human warlock, 3/1 for 3 and a black with death touch. Whenever Misfortune Teller enters battlefield or deals combat damage to a player, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, create a 2/2 black rogue creature token. If it was a land, create a treasure token, otherwise you gain 3 life. Painful Truth, sorcery for 2 and a black, has Converge. You draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the number of colours of mana spent to cast this spell. Then we have Camber the Plunderer, legendary creature, vampire rogue, 3/4 for 3 and a black, partners with Loreen the Diversion. So when this creature enters the battlefield, target player may put Loreen into their hand from their library, then shuffle. Has lifelink. Whenever a creature an opponent control dies, you gain 1 life and create a blood token. That's an artifact with pay 1, tap, discard a card, sacrifice this artifact, draw a card. Then we have an Ogre Slumlord, creature, ogre rogue, 3/3 for 3 and 2 black. Whenever another non-token creature dies, you may create a 1/1 black rat creature token. Rats you control have death touch. And Hex, sorcery for 4 and 2 black. Destroy 6 target creatures. Mari the Killing Quill, legendary creature, vampire assassin, 3/2 for 1 and 2 black. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, exile it with a hit counter on it. Assassins, mercenaries, and rogues you control have death touch, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may remove a hit counter from a card that player owns in exile. If you do, draw a card and create 2 treasure tokens. Discreet Retreat, enchantment aura for 3 and a black, enchant land. The enchanted land has tap, add 2 mana of any 1 color. Spend this mana only to cast outlaw spells or activate abilities from outlaw sources. Whenever you cast your first outlaw spell each turn, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Charred Grave Robber, creature, skeleton mercenary, 3/1 for 2 and a black. When Charred Grave Robber enters the battlefield, return target outlaw card from your graveyard to your hand. Has Escape for 3 and 2 black, exile 4 other cards from your graveyard, so you may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost, and it escapes with a +1/+1 counter on it. Then we have Back in Town, sorcery for X, 2 and a black, return X target outlaw creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Marshal and Bloodcaster, 3/5 for 4 and a black with flying. It's a creature, vampire warlock, 1 and a black, tap. Rather than pay the mana cost of the next spell you cast this turn, you may pay life equal to that spell's mana value. Vane Witch Coven, creature, vampire warlock, 3/3 for 2 and a black with menace. Whenever you gain life, you may pay black. If you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. And Rankle, Master of Pranks, legendary creature, fairy rogue, 3/3 for 2 and 2 black. Flying and haste. Whenever Rankle deals combat damage to a player, choose any number. Each player discards a card, each player loses 1 life and draws a card, each player sacrifices a creature. Direfleet Ravager, it's a mythic creature, orc pirate wizard, 4/4 for 3 and 2 black with menace and Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, each player loses a third of their life, rounded up. Mirror Entity Creature Shapeshifter 1/1 for 2 and a white. It has Changeling, so this card is every creature type for X. Until end of turn, creatures you control have base power and toughness X and gain all creature types. Direfleet Daredevil Creature Human Pirate 2/1 for 1 and a red with first strike. When it enters battlefield, exile target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard. You may cast it this turn. A mana of any type can be spent to cast its spell. If that spell would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead. Captain Lannery Storm, legendary creature human pirate 2/2 for 2 and a red with haste. Whenever Captain Lannery Storm attacks, create a treasure token. So that's an artifact with tap. Sack this artifact, add 1 mana of any color. Whenever you sacrifice a treasure, Captain Lannery Storm gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Seize the Spotlight, sorcery for 2 and a red. Each opponent chooses Fame or Fortune. For each player who chose Fame, gain control of a creature that player controls until end of turn. Untap those creatures and they gain haste until end of turn. For each player who chose Fortune, you draw a card and create a treasure token. Grenzo Havoc Razor, legendary creature Goblin Rogue 2/2 for 2 red. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, choose one. Go target creature that player controls. Exile the top card of that player's library. Until end of turn, you may cast that card, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast that spell. Angras Marauders, creature human pirate 4/4 for 5 and 2 red. If a source you control will deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. Captivating Crew, creature human pirate 4/3 for 3 and a red. And for 3 and a red, gain control of target creature an opponent controls until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Reign of Riches, enchantment for 3 and 2 red. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 treasure tokens. The first spell you cast each turn that mana from a treasure was spent to cast has Cascade. So that means when you cast a spell, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card that costs less. You may cast it without paying its mana costs. Put the exiled cards on the bottom in a random order. And we got Loreen the Diversion, legendary creature human rogue 3/3 for 2 and red. Partners with Camber the Plunderer, so we saw that one earlier. Has first strike, and for 2, sack an artifact or creature, go target creature. So that means until your next turn, that creature attacks each combat if able and attacks a player other than you if able. Mass Mutiny, sorcery for 3 and 2 red. For each opponent, gain control of up to 1 target creature that player controls until end of turn. Untap those creatures, they gain haste until end of turn. Dead Before Sunrise, instant for 3 and a red. Until end of turn, outlaw creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain tap. This creature deals damage to its power to target creature. Greywater's Fixer, creature Lizard Mercenary 4/4 for 2 black and red. Each outlaw creature card in your graveyard has Encore X, where X is its mana value. So that means exile it and pay its Encore cost. For each opponent, create a token copy that attacks that opponent this turn if able. They gain haste. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. Activate only as a sorcery. Then we have Life Insurance. Enchantment for 3, white and black has Extort. Whenever you cast a spell, you may pay white or black. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain that much life. Whenever a non-token creature dies, you lose 1 life and create a treasure token. Okay, on to the rest of the deck here. We have Brina the Demagogue, a mythic legendary creature bird warlock 1/3 for 1 white and black, has flying. Whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, if that opponent has more life than another of your opponents, that attacking player draws a card and you put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature you control. Then we have Queen Marchesa, legendary creature human assassin 3/3 for 1 red, white and black. Has Death Touch and Haste. When Queen Marchesa enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent is the Monarch, create a 1/1 black assassin creature token with Death Touch and Haste. Then we have Idol of Oblivion, artifact for 2. Tap, draw a card, activate only if you created a token this turn. For 8, tap, sack it, create a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token. That is nuts. Academy Manufacturer, artifact creature assembly worker 1/3 for 3. If you'd create a clue, food or treasure token, instead create 1 of each. Then we have Bounty Board, artifact for 3. Tap to add 1 mana of any color. For 1 tap, put a bounty counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. Whenever a creature with a bounty counter on it dies, each of its controller's opponents draws a card and gains 2 life. Then we have a Fetid Heath land. Tap for colorless. For white or black, add 2 white, white and black, or 2 black. Then we have Command Beacon. Tap for colorless. Tap, sack it. Put your commander into your hand from the command zone. Vault of the Archangel. Tap for colorless. For 2 white and black, tap. Creatures you control gain Death Touch and lifelink until end of turn. And Dragon Skull Summer enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a swamp or mountain. Tap for black or red. Temple of Silence enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, scry 1, tap for white or black. And Temple of Malice enters tapped. When it enters the battlefield, scry 1, tap for black or red. Exotic Orchard, tap, add 1 mana of any color that a land and opponent controls could produce. And Temple of Triumph enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, scry 1, tap for red or white. Clifftop Retreat enters tapped unless you control a mountain or plains. Tap for red or white. And Isolated Chapel enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a plains or swamp. Tap for white or black. Bonder's Enclave, a land. Tap for colors. For 3 tap, draw a card. Activate only if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Caves of Koilos, another land. Tap for colors. Tap for white or black. And it deals 1 damage to you. Then we have Battlefield Forge. Tap for colors. Tap for red or white. It deals 1 damage to you. Sulphurous Springs. Tap for colors. Tap for black or red. And it deals 1 damage to you. And Rugged Prairie. Tap for colorless. And for red or white, you get to add 2 red, red and white, or 2 white. Desolate Mire. For 1 tap, add white and black. Shadowblood Ridge. For 1 tap, add black and red. And Canyon Slough, tap for black or red, enters tapped. Cycle it for 2. Smouldering Marsh, tap for black or red, enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. And Blackcleave Cliffs enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. Tap for black or red. We've got a Mist Meadow Skulk. Creature Kithkin Rogue, 1/1 for 1 and white. Has lifelink, protection from mana value 3 or greater. And Requisition Raid. Sorcery for white. Has a new spree mechanic. You can choose 1 or more additional costs. +1 basically to destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature target player controls. Or you can do all 3. Changeling Outcast. Creature Shapeshifter, 1/1 for a black. Has Changeling. This card is every creature type. It can't block and can't be blocked. Feed the Swarm. Sorcery for 1 and a black. Destroy target creature enchantment and opponent controls, you lose life equal to that permanent's mana value. Deadly Dispute. Instant for 1 and a black, and it's an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature, draw 2 cards and create a treasure token. Morbid Opportunist. Creature Human Rogue, 1/3 for 2 and a black. Whenever 1 or more other creatures die, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. And Aetherborn Marauder. Creature Aetherborn Rogue, 2/2 for 3 and a black with flying and lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, move any number of +1/+1 counters from other permanents you control onto Aetherborn Marauder. And Tenured Inkcaster. Creature Vampire Warlock, 2/2 for 4 and a black. Enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. And whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Shoot the Sheriff. Instant for 1 and a black. Destroy target non-outlaw creature. And Lightning Greaves. Artifact equipment for 2. Equipped creature has haste and shroud, so that means it can't be the target of spells or abilities. Equipped for 0. And Impulsive Pilferer. Creature Goblin Pirate, 1/1 for a red. When it dies, create a treasure token. Has Encore for 3 and a red. Shiny Impetus. Enchantment Aura for 2 and a red. Enchant creature. The enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and is goaded. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, you create a treasure token. Humble Defector. Creature Human Rogue, 2/1 for 1 and a red. Tap, draw 2 cards. Target opponent gains control of Humble Defector. Activate only during your turn. Glittering Stockpile. Artifact Treasure for 2 and a red. Tap to add red. Put a stash counter on Glittering Stockpile and tap Sacker, add X mana of any one color where X is the number of stash counters on Glittering Stockpile. Boros Charm instant for red and white, choose one. It deals 4 damage to target player or planeswalker. Permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn, or target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Arcane Signet artifact for 2, tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. And Trailblazer's Boots artifact equipment for 2. Equipped creature has non-basic land walk, so that means it can't be blocked as long as defending player controls a non-basic land. Equipped for 2. And Bandit's Haul artifact for 3. Whenever you commit a crime, put a loot counter on Bandit's Haul. This ability triggers only once each turn, so targeting opponents, anything they control and or cards in their graveyards is a crime. Tap to add 1 mana of any color, and for 2 tap, remove 2 loot counters from Bandit's Haul, draw a card. And Orzhov Signet artifact for 2, for 1 tap, add white and black. And Soul Ring, I was wondering when we'd see this artifact for 1, tap for 2 colorless. Rakdos Signet artifact for 2, for 1 tap, add black and red. Okay, so getting near the end here, we'll separate out the tokens. Next we have a Command Tower. Tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Bajuka Bog enters tapped. When it enters battlefield, exile target player's graveyard, tap for black. Path of Ancestry enters tapped. Tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. And when that mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with your commander, scry 1. Rogue's Passage, tap for colorless, for 4 tap. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. And Demolition Field, tap for colorless, for 2 tap, sack it. Destroy target non-basic land, and opponent controls that land's controller may search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. You may search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Tainted Peak, tap for colorless, or tap for black or red. Activate only if you control a swamp. Sunhome Fortress of the Legion, tap for colorless, for 2 red and white, tap. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. And Nomad Outpost enters tap, tap for red, white or black. Then we have Temple of the False God, tap for 2 colors. Activate only if you control 5 or more lands. Then we have basic lands here, so plains, 2 of those, swamps, 4 of those, and 2 mountains. Okay, so we've got a lot of non-basics in this deck. And then the tokens here, we got a Mercenary token, 1/1. Tap, target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. We got the Treasure on the other side, an Inkling, 2/1 with flying, and Treasure, another 1/1 Mercenary, and more Treasure. 2/2 Rogue, and on the other side, the Monarch. We got a 1/1 Rat, and on the other side, a Blood token, the 10/10 Eldrazi, and a Clue token. Then we have an Assassin, Death Touch and Haste, 1/1, and Food. And then we got this new Bounty mechanic, Bounty Squeakers the Sly. That's fun. At the beginning of your end step, if a legendary creature you control attacked alone this turn, collect your reward. And it tells you about this new bounty mechanic here, so you'd actually need 2 decks to get the complete set of bounty cards for a face down pile. Then we have Bounty Ariana Wrecking Ball. At the beginning of your end step, if you committed a crime this turn, collect your reward. And then again, Wanted on the other side. Bounty Lissa Sterling Collector. At the beginning of your end step, if the player with the most cards in hand or tied for the most cards as the turn began was dealt combat damage this turn, collect your reward. And then we have parts of the turn popular Magic formats. So this one, the Outlaw theme is fun, although it's a little bit all over the place, so I'm not exactly sure how this one would play in practice. Let me know in the comments what you think about this deck. And if you've missed any of the other Commander decks we've reviewed on the channel, I'll pop a link in the corner to the complete playlist. Hope everyone's staying safe and healthy out there. Thanks for watching and have a great day.